Okay, let me jump in here. Just okay, can you guys see that?
Yes.
Excellent, fantastic. So, Mark, what you'll find, like, obviously Jason's a bit more experienced with some of this stuff, but as you're getting into a lot of the groups that you're in, Mark, so you mentioned you're in Joe McCall's group, Land Only Fans. I can send you a whole bunch of resources, by the way, on some other groups and things to be a part of. A lot of free resources out there as well. You'll notice that Vacant Land has quite a community about it, which is great. But there's obviously lots of different ways that people can do marketing as well to get these leads and get these deals. What we focus on here at Supercharged Offers is a whole range of things, but cold calling is one of them. So we can also do your direct mail, your digital marketing, set up websites, literally get your whole ecosystem set up for you, Mark, so that you can have that proof of concept and then go from there, which is great. So what we're going to talk about today, guys, is how we can boost our lead flow a little differently and get some more leads into your pipeline. So the new era of cold calling, I think, just to start here with the market and what's going on there, because cold calling has certainly changed a lot over the years, as has real estate. You know, real estate goes in cycles. We typically work on a 7 to an 8 year cycle with real estate, where it ebbs and flows between a seller's market to a buyer's market. So as those markets shift, the way that we also do marketing has to shift as well. So what we need to think about is what market we're in. And at the moment, we are in a seller's market. We're slowly starting to come out of that market. But that also means that the more conversations that you have with property owners, the better. This game is all about numbers and how many conversations you can have. Direct mail does still work, but direct mail response rates have been really down this year. Um, if we think about things like the economy, interest rates, election, you know, direct mail was kind of being a bit saturated. We also need to think about the change in market demographics. So, Mark, what you'll notice is in vacant land, you will be speaking to a fair amount of older people, but you're also going to be speaking with people in their 20s and 30s that maybe bought a property to build on and that hasn't happened. Or maybe they've inherited a property that they didn't even know existed. That's pretty common as well. So you'll have that. What we need to think about then is how we communicate with all of those different people and meet them where they're at. Because you're going to have some people that will respond differently to different types of marketing. And obviously, if we're looking at different types of deals, so some of our customers do subdivide deals. Instead of just doing a standard cold call, we're booking them onto like a consultation call and an appointment with you as well. So it's all about adding in different marketing channels as you go, but doing that right. So, what are some of the challenges with cold calls that we see in other companies? So, quality of leads not that great. Calls are not recorded to check that feeling or sentiment from the property owner. The lead is sent over to you, but then you can't get them back on the phone and they start ghosting you. There's no lead tracking, which makes it really hard to manage. Like, which lead am I going after and where? The language barrier ends up being a less confident lead. People are off site and they're virtual, so they're not being managed for you as well, which leads to a lack of quality control. And a lot of other cold call companies out there, guys, they don't have any compliance. And that puts you in danger when I talk about TCPA and the FTC, for making sure that you're only calling people that we should be calling. So those are challenges that we personally experienced with the previous company that we were using. And that led us to feel pretty frustrated because we were wasting a lot of time on leads that weren't really working for us. It was inefficient. People were ghosting us, and it just wasn't what we wanted. So we're doing things a little differently. So let's first of all start with where and when to use cold calling. Now, with cold calling, you can use it on the front end or the back end or both. So, front end is when we're calling them and they've never heard of you before. Really great to go and test new markets because you're going to get instant feedback from those markets. With those leads that come through, you can run your comps, look at your numbers. Hey, Christopher. I'll just say, hey, Christopher. Chris, are you there? He's just on mute. Hey, Chris, if you can hear me, I've already started, but I am recording it, so I'll get it over to you anyway. So when and where to call. Hey, Chris.
Hey, how are you? Sorry
There
for
you are.
the
That's okay. I've already jumped in. Welcome. So when we talk about when and where to call, guys, front end is when we're calling people just to assess those markets, get instant feedback because those leads come through and you can run your comps, check your numbers, do all of that. Or if you've already, like Jason, and you're 6 years in and you've got some existing markets that you want to go deeper into, really great to use cold calling to add on that extra marketing channel. Back end, though, we can also use our calling team for back end sales. So what we want to do there, if you've sent out direct mail, our team can then, once that mail has been delivered, our team can call them to follow up. Hey, we know that you've been getting lots of letters for your property. Ours is from XYZ company. We just want to check if you've got ours and if you are interested. Maybe if we sent them an offer, we can check where they're at with that offer, book them into a consultation call, move that lead through the pipeline as we go. Back end as well, if you've done any other marketing, again, going deeper into those markets to try and extract any more leads from those markets. And as I said, after an offer has been sent, try and get them into an appointment call as well. So you can use different cold calling techniques, guys, across it all. Our unique approach, so we are definitely going to be doing time, not dials. So a lot of other cold call companies out there will say, we'll dial your list 3 times. But once they've done those dials, if people didn't pick up, you're done. Those dials are done. So we're going to keep going. And that also means, when I show you the numbers, that sometimes we're calling your list like 5, 6, 7 times. We just keep going until they pick up or until they tell us no. But we're not going to dial them all on the same day because we don't want to be annoying. We're going to make sure that we can keep cycling through the data and give them optimal opportunity to be able to pick up. How we also get them over to you as soon as possible, warm transfers. Warm transfers work beautifully, but you've got to be able to have that conversation when the lead gets through to you. So we've got some training that we give you on that as well. A warm transfer, guys, is when, let's say that Kai's my customer. I've got Kai on the line. He's got a property. He meets the criteria that we want. He said that he wants to sell and he's open to talking to someone. We'll call you, Mark, and say, Mark, we've got Kai on the line. He's got a property in Polk County, Florida. I'll make it up. Here's his APN. He is looking to sell. He's really curious about what your offer might be. I'm going to patch him through, and then they'll connect you, and now you can start the conversation. So one thing we always say in this business is it's relationships first, real estate second. So the more that you can build that conversation with people and start to, introduce them to what you do, how you do it, set that expectation about what's going to happen next, the better. The other thing, guys, 100% compliance with data. So we make sure that all of your data goes to a do not call and litigators check. And on your dashboard, you'll actually be able to see that as well. All of your calls are recorded because we want feedback. I always remind people we're dealing with humans, not robots. So if you want changes to your script, if you want to give your caller feedback about what's working well, what's not working well, we really want that feedback because we can implement that straight away. We can also book appointments for you. So Mark, if you're still working during the day and you're only free between, say, 5 and 7 o'clock in the evening, your time, no problems. We can set that up and book your property owner in with you. And that's the time that you've got dedicated to call them back, and they will get all of those updates for that as well. So some really cool stuff that we can do there. With our team, guys, they're all sales trained. They're on-site inside sales agents. So they do understand the basics of real estate. They do understand sales techniques and how to overcome that. You'll get daily and weekly reports all in an Airtable dashboard, and you've got a full-time account manager and support. So anytime you guys have questions, you can reach out to myself or our account manager. We will get onto it for you straight away and implement anything within 24 hours. So let me break this down for you a little bit more, guys. Time, not dials. What does that mean? As we said, a lot of companies out there, you can spend a lot of money for them to call your list. But once that list has been called, if you haven't got leads, that's done. So we want to use time, not dials. So let's say you've got a list of 8,000 and we're calling them over a space of 2 months. We're just going to keep calling them. So we get through all 8,000 and then we start dialing it again. And then we start dialing it again. So as we go through over a space of weeks, people will see a number of missed calls from a local number on their phone. And that's going to increase the pickup rate because people start to get curious, who is this person trying to get hold of me? So if we keep that on repeat, often the actual dials will be somewhere between, say, 50 to 60,000 or more, which increases the ability for someone to respond. The other thing to note on this, because we're using local numbers to wherever your properties are, if they see a missed call 4 or 5 times, which they're going to, sometimes human nature gets the better of them and they call us back. And when they call us back, we can then have the ability to triage that call because it will still come through to our system, get the lead over to you, and you can still work that lead. So warm transfers, guys, as we said, no more ghosting. We want to get you connected with them now. Now, this is really great if you are very confident with taking those calls. As I mentioned, caller calls you. We do a fast intro and a handover because whilst we're doing that intro, our property owner's on hold. We don't want to keep them on hold for very long. We want to connect you with the seller, get you to build that instant rapport, ask them about their property and just set the expectations for what's going to happen next to make an offer. And now the lead is in your ecosystem. They know you, they've spoken to you. The next time you go to call them, they might recognize your number. All of those things you can set the scene for to make sure that we're going to increase the likelihood of that relationship continuing with your seller. Compliance with TCPA, guys. So the Telephone Consumer Protection Act does state that people that are on a do not call list cannot be called for any marketing activities, period. So it's not the cold caller or us that gets in trouble. It's actually you and your company. So we will protect you and we're going to make sure that cold calling is 100% safe and we're following all the regulations there as well. So scrubbing for compliance is key. And for me, it's not just about remaining compliant. It's also about showing some integrity in your business. Now, a lot of people are like, but what about AJ if we scrub out a couple of hundred people? No problems. We can still send them direct mail. We just don't want to call them, guys. We want to make sure that we keep you really compliant with that as well. All of your calls are recorded. So why are recorded calls really important? A couple of reasons. Sometimes it's not what the property owner says, it's what they don't say. Things like tone, pitch, wording, all those non-verbal comms that we get from them. Also, if you're not doing warm transfers and you are going to call that person back, maybe it's for an appointment or you're just following back up the lead, you can actually listen to that call and now prepare for the call. What have they said? What have they mentioned about the property? Have they talked about a family member? Like, is it an inherited property and they need to bring their brothers and sisters on the call with them? So that's going to help you with your sales skills as well. So once you understand what they said, but also what they didn't say, you can pick up where the calling team left off. Sales trained team, really important to make sure that whoever's doing cold calling, because let me give you guys a heads up. Cold calling is not for the faint-hearted. It is not easy. And I always say to our cold calling team, thank you, because it is not a job that I want to do. So they are on site, they are full-time, they are managed on site as well. They must be rated for a 4 out of 5 on English, and they must sound great and be super professional on the phone. We've got custom scripts and you'll get a dedicated resource so they can get to know you and your leads over time. Now, if that resource is away for the day, they're sick, they're unwell, something's happened, we'll have another resource that we can plug and play into there for you. So because they're being managed for you, there's no wondering, how are they performing? Are they working the amount of hours that I'm paying them for? All of that stuff is managed for you and they will work in whatever time zone you want them to work in. So if you say, AJ, I'm doing a whole bunch of stuff in my properties and it's all central time zone, I'm available between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. central time. So they're the times to do warm transfers to me and make sure that we can work that, right? So we will work based upon your schedule as well. We do have everything set up for you in Airtable, guys. So you don't need to have a subscription to this. We give you free access. All of your calls are going to be added to your dashboard in real time. All of the Q&A will be captured. The recordings will be added and there'll be a note in there to do a transfer or a callback. I'll show you guys this in a moment. Average dials and leads per day or week, and then obviously reporting down to a city level as well. So let me just pause there. I'm just going to open up Airtable for you guys and show you. Let me just go to one of the campaigns here. I'll just open up this one. Give me 1 second, guys. I should have had this open, shouldn't I? Alrighty. So in your portal, you've got 3 separate sections. The first is all of your leads. So this will show you on a daily basis. This customer's already got 3 for today already. The property owner, then the property county, APN, address of the property, phone number. If we are able to get an email, guys, we'll get that. And we can also send emails on your behalf. Size of the property, if there's access to the property or an easement, if there's utilities available on the property or at the street, Any questions that we're asking in your script, we will put those in there. Now, if the call has been transferred to you, then no callback is required. But for this particular customer, they're not doing warm transfers. They're just getting everything sent over. Then you'll have some notes about the property and the call recording. So you can listen to everything on here. And all of these notes, we try and make them as comprehensive as possible. And so that you've got the right information to be able to go and pick up that lead and keep going as well. So that's the first part of the portal. The second part is your performance. So this will give us, we're aiming for this customer to get 3 leads a day. We're currently averaging 4 leads a day. So they're up to 169 leads. In here, you can see on a daily basis all the leads coming through, and you can click through to those leads and manage them from there. Further down, though, we also pull through all of your data and all of the cities that you're going after. And what's really cool is you're able to see all of the leads per city. So for some of these, we can see 6 leads here, 6 leads there, which is pretty cool. 2 leads, 4 leads. I'm trying to see if there's any that has a really big number. Oh, Pagosa Springs, 12 leads. Wow, that's pretty cool. So what we can overlay that with is where you're making your offers and where you're getting things under contract. And that's going to allow us to run some more numbers on the success of your campaign too, which is really cool. And then the final thing in your dashboard is your resources. So in here, you'll have your scripting and then your complete data set. And as you can see from this, it's DNC ready, which means do not call ready. So only after we've scrubbed that, you can then pull that data from here, look at everyone who was on the DNC and litigators list, and you can decide if you'd like to do some direct mail for them as well, which we can do. So pretty cool. So that's everything in Airtable. And we can link everything up to your CRM, which is great. So with the data, we do all of your data for you guys. You don't need to go out and source data and really, go through different spreadsheets and make that all happen. So we've got a database that has every single property across the US and MLS data. So you might be thinking, well, why would we do MLS? So what's really awesome is sometimes going after expired listings, because as we all know, there's some fantastic realtors out there that love doing vacant land, but not all of them are successful in being able to work with vacant land. So if we can also pull expired listings for you, there might be some gold in those as well. We do have an algorithm that looks up probability of road access. It is more art than what it is science, guys. And what we're looking for is anything that has an 80% probability and above, because you'll also find, a Mark, this is really good for you to know. Ideally, properties with road access are awesome, but often with vacant land, it might be a little bit behind the road, but there could be a right of way or an easement to that property that then still means that it's a viable property. Once we pull the data, guys, we'll scrub it, we'll verify it, we'll skip trace it up to 5 numbers per record, and then we'll run it through the DNC and litigator checks for you. And then and only then we'll get it over to you for your CRM. So with CRMs, guys, we can integrate into most CRMs via a webhook that we can set up for you. If you are a user of Pebble, which we love. So with Pebble, we'll even take that one step further and we'll upload all of the data for you. Pebble as a CRM has what's called a Pebble seller's inbox that we can map all of the leads into that inbox for you. So as soon as a lead comes through, they're in your system, you can work them straight away, which I think is really cool. Demo time. So I want you to listen to one of our calls just so you can see the quality of the person. So let me just make sure my sound is on. Share sound. There we go. All right. Here's a little example, guys. Oh, that's taken me to here.
Hello.
Hello?
Hi, this is Kayla. Am I speaking to Vernon?
Yes, may I ask who's calling?
Yes, I'm Kayla Smith, and I work with a group of investors in your area called Bear Creek Buys Land. And I'm reaching out because we've been looking into properties in Lee County and noticed you own vacant land there. You still own that property at 207 Canton Avenue?
Mm-hmm.
Would you be interested in selling it?
When the price is right.
Well, I'd like to ask you a couple of basic questions to ensure the property meets our initial criteria, so we're not wasting your time. It'll only take a few moments. Okay?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just to give you guys a sample. I won't go through the whole call, but basically then she goes through and talks about him, his property, access, utilities, all of those things that we've got in the script, right? To be able to qualify that prospect and make sure they're the right one for the call. So you can see their English is great, approach is great, tonality is great, and we always want to give feedback to our team on those things too. So what is the package, guys? Let's have a look at what's included in what we do. So we've got two packages. The main one is what we call our Speed to Lead Kickstarter. And this is basically going up to 4,000 unique property owners per month. This is going to give you consistently 1 to 2 leads per day. Okay. You get a dedicated ISA inside sales agent who'll be your appointment setter, cold caller, etc. We'll average non-stop dials for the month. Of these ones, we average about 16 to 20,000 for the month. Some campaigns are even higher than that, just depending upon the county. You'll get your data team that will do your 4,000 records per month, all skip traced, all your compliance done for you. Campaign portal in Airtable that I showed you guys. We can do warm transfer. We can process incoming calls when people return. All the recordings are done for you. We can even send thank you emails to your prospects. You'll get all your call reports and your dashboard and everything as well. So that's $22.75 a month, and we guarantee to get you a minimum 30 qualified booked appointments or leads in the first 60 days minimum. So we're actually, with most of our customers, as you saw, I just showed you, we're tripling that at the moment. In some areas we're doubling it, but you know, we can get you a lot more than that, which is great. The other option is our full-time. So all the same inclusions, guys, now it's just more numbers. So this one, we're going up to 10,000 property owners per month, and this is going to average between 2 to 5 leads a day. Most customers on this campaign are getting between more like 4 to 6 per day at the moment, but we say 2 to 5 because that's a nice number to be able to measure. And that was $3,995 a month as well. So yeah, full-time versus part-time, depending upon where you're at and how many leads you feel that you can handle on a daily basis as well. I also want to demonstrate to you guys Buyer Finder. This is super cool. I love this. So once you get a property under contract, so your leads are coming through, you've now got a property under contract. Now let's go and test the market for that particular property. Best way to do it is with Buyer Finder before you do anything else. Why? It's the fastest and the cheapest way to go and test the market before you spend a whole bunch of money on, you know, getting it on land.com, getting drone imagery done, all that stuff that we need to do. So let me give you a super quick demo of this. You can look up the property with the address, the APN and county, or the lat long. Reason why there's lat long in here, so Mark, just for your information, a lot of vacant land won't have an address, and sometimes the APNs are a little funky, but it will always have a lat long, so you can look it up on that as well. But I'll just look this one up. This one here is in Lincoln County, North Carolina. Oh, there we go. So first things first, guys, it'll find the property for you. There we go. That's the right property. Now, if it wasn't the right property, you can simply say, no, let me change it and move it around. You can also zoom in to see that we're on the right property. So we'll just say that, yep, that's the right one. It's going to go and have a look at all of the neighbors in the area for different radius and also all the cash buyers in the area. These are people that have bought more than 2 properties like yours in the last 18 months, okay? So we can see there's 20 within a block as we go up with the radius, because you can just hover over here and see the radius, and 37 cash buyers. So what we want to do here, we want to include all the cash buyers, but let's pull the neighbors back to the closest, say 60. We can just play around with that. Now, if your property, guys, if you wanted to get it out as a cash deal, cash and seller finance, or just seller finance only, or maybe you've got a realtor working on the property for you, you can either send out a flyer and letter or a postcard, and there's combinations of all of them here. So let me just put this as a cash offer. Now with this is what I love about this. You've got the flyer that's going to be attached to the property, and then you've got the letter. So the neighbor letter that will go out with all your information on it, and the cash buyer letter that will go out with all your information on it. But on the flyer, there's some really cool things you can do. We can see we've got a map here of the property. We can always edit that map. So say we want to zoom in a little bit more, we can do that. There we go. Then it just shows up a bit differently. You can also edit these things here. So some of the counties, guys, as we know, county is the source of truth, but sometimes their data is not perfect. let's say the property, you've had a survey done and it's actually 0.45 acres. You can update that here, which is easy. All of these fields are editable. You can then go and say, all right, the property's 50,000. I'm selling it for 45 for the nearest person. You can then update all of your colors on the site. So let's say that your branding colors are more green. You can update that to green. Really nice. And you can also have a play around with the images. So at the moment, we've got a Google Street View here, but as we can see, it's not really centered on where we want. So you can just go, well, I want Street View and I want to switch it. There we go. There's our beautiful property, all cleared, all ready to go. Now I want to save that snapshot, and there's my flyer ready to go. And all we then need to do is go approve and continue. I'm not going to click, when we do that, it's going to ask us just for the information, pay for it, done. That's how easy it is to use Buyer Finder. We say 6 clicks in 60 seconds. Obviously, I explained it to you guys as we were going through. So super easy. What it's also going to do then, guys, it's going to email you over all the data. So specifically for the cash buyer data, really great to get those records, put them into your CRM, start calling them. Hey, we see you've bought multiple properties in this area. What else are you looking for? You know, take that buyer first approach, which I think is really cool. So that's a really good intro to Buyer Finder. The other thing now, guys, and I'm going to put this in the chat box, there's some really good resources out there to help you with how to close your leads and how to comp them. So 2 of my really fantastic friends, Ajay Sharma is one of them. Jason and I will be catching up with him tomorrow night here in Phoenix for dinner, and the Land Pilot with Robin Saib. So Land Closers Academy, there's a whole bunch of free resources. Mark, for you just starting out, this link will be amazing. There's free scripts and different things on what to do with your first call, your second call, your offer call. The Land Pilot group, Mark, $99 a month. They do daily comping calls, which is really cool. So I'm just going to put that information in the chat box here for you guys, because I think that there's some valuable stuff in there for you to access. So let me just get that. All right, come back to you guys. There we go. There's the links to those. Excellent. And then finally, I just want to give you guys a link. Now, obviously, the only person that doesn't need to use this link is Jason, because we just started his cold calling for him this week. Oops, let me just hold on one second, guys. I just responded to Kai and I need to put that to everyone. So there's the link for us to book a call. So for you, Christopher and Mark, I'd love to get on a one-on-one with you guys, talk about more about your strategy, what you want to do, where you want to go, how you can utilize that calling on front end or back end as well. And then further to that, I want you guys to grab the link for the Land Closers Academy, heaps of free content and scripts and stuff in there. And also the Land Pilot, $99 a month to get all of your comping and really learn how to comp properties well. So some good resources there, guys. So that's everything to do with cold calling and how to use it, how to maximize the opportunity of all the leads coming through, how to handle your warm transfers, some different hints and tips there. Let me open it up to you guys for any questions. We've got a nice small group. So any questions that you guys have got for me? I can see you talking, Mark, if you want to unmute yourself.
There I am. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm clicking around here on those, trying to bookmark those 2 links, and it was a little slow coming in through the chat. So, anyway, technology, getting it all going there.
Awesome.
So I'm a newbie, and so I'm just looking there. You know, that's sort of a big thing without no cash flow for the initial. But I mean, it sounds extremely interesting. If I was rolling and going, then I would be using it. So definitely.
Yep.
Let me ask about Pebble. You have integration with Pebble, and I'm in FreedomSoft currently, and so I want to hear a little more about Pebble. Yeah, briefly.
Absolutely. I'm just going to put the affiliate link in there for you for Pebble as well, if you want to grab that link. So Pebble's a fantastic CRM. It's built by land people for land people. So what it has in it is some comps tools. It's got already a templated website that you can put your properties on to then get them sold. It's got some really good integration with both SMS and calling. So again, everything's in the one platform. Also, it's very easy to send your offers out from that CRM. So once you've got someone, you can send them an offer electronically. So it integrates to things like PandaDoc, DocuSign, all of that stuff. And you can do small batch from it too. We can do the big batch mailing for you, but if you just need to get one offer out, Pebble can do that. So in terms of, I can see Jason nodding as I'm saying this, right? Jason, are you a Pebble user?
So can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I did use Pebble. And it's excellent, and especially if you're starting out and you're not familiar with other CRMs. If you like the one you're in, don't change it. But if you're starting out and you haven't, embedded yourself in it, then Pebble is kind of where to start. It's everything that a land investor needs. It is a little bit more costly because it's being developed actively as they're going. And it's easy for, like you said, those one-off mailers. They've become much more complicated for me. I got to mostly do them by hand to make it easy for me. But yeah, I like Pebble, and it's completeness basically. It's all in one package. It's just a little bit more costly on a monthly basis, but that's not a big deal when you have everything you need.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to weigh
Freedom
up
Soft.
time versus
Freedom
money.
Soft isn't that, it's comparable to Freedom Soft. I'm paying $197 for the base, but you have to sort of upgrade in to get the things in it. And it's basically comp to Freedom Soft, but you have different integrations there in Pebble. So
yeah. And what I think is important to note, Mark, is not all CRMs are built the same. There's so many different options.
no.
Freedom Soft is fantastic. Is that the version that Joe McCall's using?
Yeah, he has a signature edition where he puts all his, what do you call, back office, mailers and stuff. That's his, but it doesn't.
Got the
It's like,
replica of his. That's good too.
yeah, it's good for start, but the integration when I'm looking for email integration was what I was looking for, and that's sort of a area that they're not, again, and it's just what they're focused on is mailing. And
yeah, absolutely. So what's great about Pebble too is everything that we do integrates into Pebble really, really well. So pushing your leads in there, uploading your cold call data, all of that stuff, even the websites we build, they integrate into Pebble beautifully. And then being in Pebble, because the whole seller's pipeline, buyer's pipeline is specific for vacant land, a lot of that stuff is mapped out for you. So there's some good stuff in there as you're starting out. I just want to come back as well to your comment on needing to have some marketing budget to get going. So what we're doing from the cold calling, it's a very, very competitive price, the $22.75 a month, because there's other companies out there that are about the same price, but they don't have all the reporting and the recording and all the stuff that we do as well. What you're going to have to think about, Mark, is have at least a runway of about 3 to 4 months worth of marketing budget, because that's how long it's going to take you to start to see that activity. So month 1, leads will be coming in. You'll be working with Joe on assessing those markets and seeing, what works, what doesn't work, running your comps, getting your offers out. Month 2, you'll be following up on those offers, more leads coming in. Month 3, again, following up on offers, more leads coming in. By about month 3 to 4, you should be expecting to get some properties under contract as a newbie. Okay. Once you've got really good at that, you'll start to get better and faster at what to do. And that the Land Closers Academy, some awesome stuff in there to help you close those leads a lot faster. So you need to have that runway. Now, if you book a call with us, either Kai or myself, we'll go in and talk to you about some business to business credit options that can help get your business started faster. So that might be something we can explore with you as well. Don't have to use your own money. Other people's money.
Okay. Okay. All right. Sounds good.
Great. Chris, any questions from you?
Yeah, I have a couple questions. I know, Alicia, you've known me for quite some time now, and Priscilla. A couple questions. So, as you know, there's various forms of land, right? There's the infill lots, and then there's the the larger parcels. Does your system work for both? Because I know with both, contacting is different.
Yep, sure does. Yeah, we can do any strategy when it comes to land. What I would say there's 3 things that make a cold call campaign successful: the data, the script, and the caller. Okay.
Okay.
Let's go to data and script. Let's say that you've got two strategies. One is infill lot, etc. Here's our offer for this. Offer being what we want to do with those properties, not financial, but and then we've got another strategy that might be larger properties that are more subdivides,
Right.
for example. Now we can have a script that can put that all into one, okay, and we've got some customers successfully doing that. Or we can have two separate ones where we say, okay, let's do all the infill data first, and here's the script for that. We want to talk to them about, you know, are the neighbors encroaching on your property? Are you open to selling? Obviously, it's an infill lot, so tell me some more characteristics about utilities, etc. Do the call, get the warm transfer over to you for those that are hot. When we're talking about these larger properties, for those subdivide deals, a lot of these property owners, they know what they're sitting on. They know that it could be potentially a really big deal if they were to subdivide it themselves, but they don't know where to start with that. Otherwise, they
Right.
would have by now, right? So that script tends to be a little different, where we're leaning into things like, look, you know, maybe you've thought about developing your property or subdividing it, but maybe you don't know where to start. Well, we've got a team that's actually going to do that. So what I want to do is book you into a consultation call. We'll then qualify the prospect and the property and book an appointment. So there's different strategies and different workflows that we'll do, knowing what the best result's going to be for that. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And then my next question is, I know that the cold caller doesn't deal with the negotiations, but let's say we have a list of buyers already, we know what market we want to go into, and we know the buy box. Are they able to still warm up the lead to maybe make sure that the lead also fits into the buy box criteria of what they want to sell their land for, or no? Does
Yeah.
that make
So
sense of the question?
yeah. So when you take so you're thinking about approaching buyers when you think about buy box?
No. So let's say that we work with you and we already have the buyers, right? Like we know what market we want to get into, we know what our buyers are paying, what the lot size is. Um, how granular can they get with warming up the lead? Let's say, for example, when they send a call to me or Priscilla, my partner, we want to just get the leads that not only fit the land size and certain specifications, but also the price, right?
Yep.
Because we know the price beforehand already. Are
Yep.
they
Yep.
able to
That's fine.
also work on getting the
Yeah,
lead warmed up to that
definitely. So
price
there's
range? Okay.
yeah, definitely great question, Chris. Now I understand your question. There's really two elements to that, right? One is qualification. So we want to qualify the prospect and we also want to qualify the property. Qualifying the prospect is, are you open to selling? You know, have you got it listed at the moment? Tell us more, like, you know, is it inherited? Finding out about them.
Mm-hmm.
Qualifying the property is then, because we do custom scripting as well. Qualifying the
Mm-hmm.
property is, does it have road access? You know, are there utilities close by? Tell us a little bit more about the property, you know, confirm property size, things like that. To take it to that next level about price is where it gets a bit tricky, and here's why. What I find is, if we start to ask them about what they want to sell for and try and get that number, tell me if I'm wrong here, guys. You guys and Jason, you know this extremely well. A lot of property owners out there have no idea what their property is worth. They've got an overinflated view of what it's worth, and they've got the price off the back of a cereal box. They really don't know their numbers. They really don't. Some of them do, but a lot of them don't. And a lot of them will say, well, you tell me what you think it's worth. You know, what are you willing to pay? I only want more than 100K for the property. So you'll start to get this. And what happens then, if you come back to human psychology, Chris, is that they then have that anchored in their head. So when
Mm-hmm.
the prospect comes to you and you're now saying, oh, well, we're willing to offer you the 65K for this property. And they're like, well, I said to the person I want no less than 100. Now you've got to walk them back and do a whole bunch of negotiation. And that becomes harder for you. So we tend to, and we've tried different things around this, we tend to err away from talking about anything financial on that call, because then they're going to get that locked into their head. What we want to do is just do that qualification and allow you guys to talk to them first, set the tone for what you do. And we'll tell them, you
Mm-hmm.
know, we're going to give you a cash offer. It's not a retail offer, etc. So that's a qualification. But we want you guys to have more control over what happens on that next conversation to be able to negotiate. Yeah, Jason said there, the Land Closers Academy explains this well. If you go into that link I've got for the Land Closers Academy, Ajay's script on that first call with a prospect is absolutely brilliant. It sets the tone, it sets the scene, it sets the expectation, it finds out about the property and the property owner, and it doesn't even talk about price at that point. You
Okay.
really want to just get to know them and get them to know you and set that scene. And then the next call is, hey, I've gone and run my numbers. Here's my offer.
Got it. Okay.
Download those scripts from that link that's in the chat box. Awesome stuff in there. And get
Okay,
onto RJ's
perfect.
Facebook group. Yeah. And Mark, if you're not already, I'll send you a link with some stuff after this, Mark. If you want to, I'll have your email address from your registration. But yeah, I'll send you a whole bunch of resources so that you can get going on some stuff as well, Mark.
Excellent.
Yeah. Other questions, guys?
I just have more of a statement, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think with starting with the resources you have here, you get started on the marketing side with Alicia, and in my opinion, right now, cold calling is the way to go. And her options from the research I have done and some purchases I've made are the lowest cost and so far the best available. And then you get educated with the Land Closers Academy on your job, which is to sit here, basically what you're doing right now, sit here on the phone or on a video call even with the sellers, and then you get working with the land pilot to then sell your property. All you're doing is you're sitting here with your headset on all day, making money.
You're sitting in the middle making money. Oh,
yeah.
Jason, you couldn't have put it better. And I didn't pay him to say that, by the way, guys, but thanks, Jason.
I'm just trying to make it easier for them to understand I have 6 years of mistakes, so.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you financed it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and that's I couldn't have said that better, because you don't need to do everything in your businesses these days. You can really just say, what is my role in the business that's going to be the most revenue generating, that's going to move the needle? It's exactly as Jason said. It's sitting in the middle, making sure deals can happen, getting sellers over the line, making sure you've got properties to hand over to the land pilot to sell for you, which is a done for you service. And all you need to do is sit in the middle and nurture those leads. That's it. We're on the front end. Robin and his team are on the back end. You're good to go. Really great way to manage your time, be more efficient, and focus on the fun stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and just another side note that somebody made this statement recently. Your job is basically to make friends. You're gonna sit here and try to make friends with every seller you talk to. So know, like, and trust. You want them to be your buddy. You want to be able to solve their problems, and maybe you'll have another friend for life. You can go visit them on their new house that they bought in the Caribbean from the land you bought from them.
Are you speaking from experience there, Jason?
I'm setting a goal. Big
I love
property
it.
so
Nothing
they can
wrong
buy
with
Caribbean.
It's so true. I actually know people that have become friends with their sellers, because especially I know one of our customers had a really complicated probate deal with a seller where they ended up meeting all 5 family members. They had to get documents signed by all 5. They ended up mending some relationships with the family because they brought the family together, and the family was a bit not all communicating. And he said, after working with all 5 of them and going through the probate and getting it done, like 2 of them I now they're like friends, because they live in the same county as me. We've caught up, and when we got all the documents signed, we went out for a beer afterwards, and it's really a human business, this business. I always say people before properties, that's for sure. So getting people on the phone and getting a conversation started, that's where you got to start.
Excellent.
Absolutely. I actually have one last question, Alicia.
Yeah, go, Chris.
I know we had spoken, especially with you, we spoke about getting started with wholesaling and then going into actually flipping the land, right? So me and Priscilla are still in the wholesale phase. Is this method work for both sides of the spectrum?
Definitely. And we've got a couple of customers that are doing wholesaling at the moment. And so their script is quite different. Their script is actually saying to the person very transparently, if you've worked with a realtor and you haven't been able to sell your property, or if you've been thinking about putting it out to the market, but you're not too sure what the market's going to do, I'm going to do that all for you. And I'm going to find you an end buyer. And then I'm literally just going to, be in the middle, doing all the work for you. And that's how I get paid. So the script for that is really transparent, because you want to be honest with people, and that's actually working really well for that customer. So yeah, if you want to just start there, Yeah, Land Pilot, great one, Jason. So the guys in the Land Pilot, they can also sell you contracts as well. So if you get something under, and you want to just wholesale it out, they'll either buy it from you or they will find a buyer for it that can then do something with the property as well. So yeah, some great resources there, guys.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
Excellent.
Yep. Okay. Any other final questions, team?
No,
All right. Well, thank you guys for jumping on. Jason, I'd love to have a chat with you before. Well, I'll see you tomorrow night, Jason, so we can have a chat then. Looking forward to catching up. Mark and Chris, the link for a booking with us. Let me just re-put that link in the chat box there. Did you guys both get that link?
Yeah.
let me go back there. Okay.
Yep. I got the link.
Excellent. I'll just post it down there again. So it's the last one there. So make sure you've got that, Mark.
Yes, I
Let's
got it. Thank
roll,
you.
guys. It's you know, I've got a really good feeling that 2025 is going to be a great year. We've already, since the election's now gone, we've already seen that consumer confidence start to increase. I've now got customers who are actually getting properties sold that had been sitting for a while. Jason, yes, celebrating. We got sellers that are now, yep, I know that I'm not going to have to think about capital gains for my property anymore because Kamala's not in. So, you know,
Yep.
there's a whole bunch of stuff happening.
Experienced that
Wow.
firsthand. I've experienced that
Yeah,
firsthand.
yeah, right.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
you know,
Wow.
changes.
People
So I
were really
really,
holding on to their land like the past couple months. It was just becoming very difficult. And now
yeah,
like the floodgates are opening. I'm so
yep,
happy.
yep, me too,
You
me too.
know?
So I reckon 2025 is going to be a bumper year, and
Mhm.
we're going to see that shift in the market, more economic
Absolutely.
stability, all of that stuff. So now's the time to get started. You know, let's beat everyone else to the finish line, and looking forward to it. So Jason, I'll see you tomorrow night. Mark, Chris, love to see you on a
We'll
one-on-one
talk.
call. That'll either be
Absolutely.
with myself or Kai. And yeah, let's get going, guys. Let's get you some leads and some deals.
Awesome.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Excellent.
guys, I'll
Excellent.
see you
Thank you.
soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right.